What happens when the battlefield shifts from trenches to factories? In modern war, the decisive blows are often struck far from the front line, against the workshops and stockpiles that keep weapons flowing. In 2025, the Pavlograd chemical plant, Ukraine's main supplier of rocket fuel and missile components, became a prime target. Russian precision strikes didn't just demolish buildings, they tore into Ukraine's weapons production, threatening the very supply lines that keep its arsenal alive. When Pavlograd erupted in massive fireballs in late August, it wasn't just another strike, it was the culmination of a broader campaign. Drones and missiles ripped through workshops that produced rocket fuel, engines, and warheads, sending detonations cascading across the Dnipropetrovsk region. Yet Pavlograd was not the first. Earlier in the year, strikes had already leveled explosive warehouses on other chemical plant facilities. So, what happened in Pavlograd, and why do chemical plants keep finding themselves in the crosshairs? Let's dive into the story. The Pavlograd chemical plant has long been one of Ukraine's most critical military-industrial facilities, and in 2025, it once again became a primary target in Russia's campaign of precision strikes. In late August, successive waves of missile and drone attacks tore into the facility, igniting what officials described as massive detonations of rocket fuel. Reports from August 30th and 31st confirm that Geran-2 UAVs and accompanying cruise missiles struck the plant's solid rocket fuel and gunpowder production sites, triggering fireballs that illuminated the Dnipropetrovsk region. The footage captured on the ground, showing towering flames and repeated secondary blasts, underscores the magnitude of the stockpiles stored there. The Ministry of Defense Russia Telegram channel claimed responsibility for these strikes, noting that they had destroyed production workshops that manufactured missile engines, warheads, and UAV control systems. However, beyond Pavlograd itself, the operation extended to adjacent industrial hubs such as Yuzhmash and the Yangel Design Bureau in Dnipropetrovsk, as well as Motorsich in Zaporozhye. The simultaneous targeting of multiple strategic nodes suggests an effort to dismantle Ukraine's vertically integrated weapons complex, a network that produces everything from propulsion systems to guidance modules. Striking Pavlograd was more than a symbolic blow. It meant disrupting Ukraine's capacity to sustain the flow of solid-fuel rockets used in both tactical battlefield systems and strategic long-range platforms. The detonations didn't simply remove stockpiles, they threatened the continuity of a supply chain critical to Ukraine's ability to field new weapons. The August strikes on Pavlograd were not isolated. Throughout 2025, chemical plants across Ukraine, and even beyond its borders, have emerged as high-value targets. On June 7th, the military news Telegram channel released a report on missile strikes that hammered the Bolshevik chemical plant in Kyiv, producing massive red flames that engulfed the impact zone. The Pavlograd facility was also hit earlier in the year, with warehouses holding explosives destroyed during Russian strikes on Mirgorod, Poltava region. Each attack points to a deliberate strategy: erode the capacity of either side to manufacture, store, and distribute the volatile compounds that fuel modern warfare. This back-and-forth targeting reflects a brutal truth. The war has entered a phase where crippling production is just as decisive as destroying weapons in the field. By neutralizing the source, the attacker aims to weaken not only today's arsenal, but tomorrow's replenishment. To understand why Pavlograd became a priority target, one must look at the typical output of a military chemical plant. These facilities aren't just factories, they are complex hubs where chemistry, metallurgy, and engineering converge to produce the raw muscle of warfare. At the core of Pavlograd's role is the production of solid rocket fuel. Unlike liquid propellants, which require intricate storage and fueling systems, solid propellants allow for quick launch readiness and longer shelf life, making them indispensable for battlefield missiles and tactical air defense interceptors. The plant's workshops likely handled the mixing of oxidizers, such as ammonium perchlorate with powdered aluminum fuel, and polymeric binders, producing the dense charges that drive rockets like Ukraine's S-200 modifications or longer-range derivatives. Beyond propellants, the plant has been associated with warhead filling and explosive processing. This includes the refinement of high explosives such as HMX, RDX, and composite mixtures used to construct the lethal payloads of short and medium-range missiles. These explosives are cast, pressed, or molded into combat parts before final assembly with missile structures. Another essential branch of production is engine manufacturing. Reports from Russia's Ministry of Defense highlight that the Pavlograd chemical plant hosted assembly workshops for solid fuel engines. This process involves the integration of casings, nozzles, igniters, and propellant grains into a single unit capable of delivering reliable thrust. Moreover, intelligence sources suggest the facility contributed to UAV systems, specifically control modules and power units. In a war increasingly dominated by drones, a site that combines missile propulsion and UAV component production represents a dual threat to adversaries. Last, the plant functioned as a storage hub. Warehouses held explosive compounds, ready-to-use warheads, and fuel stocks. The secondary detonations seen after each strike, prolonged, repeated blasts rather than a single explosion, confirm that both raw propellant and finished munitions were on site in significant volumes. Taken together, these production lines underline why Pavlograd has been described as Ukraine's main supplier of rocket fuel. Its loss severely constrains Ukraine's ability to sustain or expand its missile arsenal, pushing Kyiv to rely more heavily on Western transfers. So that's today's wrap-up. Thanks for watching.